This is the garden in early March. I planted peas on the right in the front. In the front next to the peas was beets. Next to that was bunching onions. Next to that was dragon carrots. And the peas I think were snow peas. And on the back row I just planted romaine lettuce, which only a few came up here and there. It was old seed. So at the end of March, as you can see, the peas, now on the back row, the peas, the beets, the onions, the carrots, and then more peas I'd planted had all started growing. And then in between all the lettuce, I'd planted peas, and later some radishes and some other kind of beets were planted. Then by late April, as you can tell, the garden was just going overboard. I was having to pick the peas daily. Most of the peas, as I said, were snow peas. They were doing really well. I just started picking some of the carrots here and there, which was okay size, dragon carrots. By then I'd forgotten they were dragon carrots. And some of the beets I was harvesting. Here's a harvest that was a daily harvest. A few carrots, as you can tell they're purple, and the beets are the rounder. They had just little bulbs, probably should have thinned them more. Some lettuce leaves I could harvest every day just about. And plenty of peas. I had so many peas, I've still got bags and bags of peas in the freezer. So best thing to plant in my opinion in South Georgia in the spring, peas for sure. Early summer, May 9th, the garden was still going, but the peas were starting to die. It was getting hot. The radishes, as you can tell, they were full red radishes from India. They bolted. They were supposed to do well and hot. They did not. They bolted as soon as it got warm. The romaine lettuce didn't even bolt that fast. And I had volunteer tomatoes on the right container that I started getting. They were cherry organic that was in the compost. They grew and produced more than a handful. Summer, June 7th, 2016, we had all the peas were gone, all the beets, carrots, everything was gone, but next to the onions on both sides were peppers. On the right side was banana peppers, on the left side was some Zavory Habaneros, and on the outside edges I would plant some melons. On the left a golden Jenny melon, and on the right a different kind. There's the cat. She can be annoying. Now, before on the other container you saw a sunflower and some peas. They're gone, and there I planted some Mexican gherkin cucumbers. This is where some of the peppers, I was just taking one picture to show that they were coming up. The golden jennies took longer to come up than my other melons, which were rich sweetness 132. The peppers on this side also are taking longer. On June 20th, I pretty much pulled up everything that was in that other bed that had been sprouting, all the beets that were left. The biggest one, the nicer leaves, I used it to make this ham, brown sugar ham, sauteed with the beets, and then threw in some fresh tomatoes that came from that container with the tomatoes. Then in July, by July 12th, as you can see, the melons are just taking over. Where we'd had on that back row, where it had been lettuce and spring crops, that was gone. I've planted just summer squashes. Only 2 zucchinis popped up there, some old seed. I planted a few new Pattison yellow squash on the left side, and in the middle is just summer squash. And this is the cucumbers. I'd planted a few cucumbers in a little patch near where the water is. There's the Mexican sour gherkin cucumbers. All it's been is vines so far. Um, the tomatoes, it started getting 100 degrees outside. They pretty much started wilting and died. The melons, as you can see, is taking over the garden. The golden jennies don't spread as much as the rich sweetness 132. The one that's spreading everywhere on the right side is rich sweetness. As you can see, the summer squashes, the yellow straight necks, and the zucchinis on the left, the Pattison squash now on the right. That is the rich sweetness melon, which tastes like cantaloupe, and it'll be white on the inside, and the outside turns orange and yellow, and it'll pop off just like cantaloupes do when they're ready to be picked. Those are the golden Jenny cantaloupes. It's a small cantaloupe. None of them have gotten ripe yet. Still waiting. My banana pepper shot up and was doing very well. They've produced over 2 handfuls now and still going. They've got more out there. So they're doing well. The other peppers are slower, much slower.